And we have Secord now looking at Bork as you watch play coming behind the net with Zarley Zalapski. And Secord and Bork went at each other. Secord is the one who's going to get the penalty for cross-checking, or at least getting his stick up high.
You bet he is, and he might even get more for that, Mike. Now Buskus who's trying to get at Secord. Pretty interesting. Phil Bork has had to start against the Flyers' big guys. He's a big guy himself, but in every one of these games, both Ubriaco and Holmgren have made sure that has happened.
That rank now with the scoring of the second of his goals, the one that was even strength. Trying to glove that pass ahead. Jock Callender has lost his glove. Down to the ice of Penguin. 9 minutes, 45 seconds to go. First period of play as Hextall comes to the board. Partner was locked up with one of the Penguins and still is. That was Robbie Brown as you watch Dineen going back to play this. Dineen without his helmet. And then a hard hit by Kartner. Oh, what a check on Zalapski. Blocked down in front. Kartner tries to nudge it along, and then Brian Dobbin is stepped into. Still it's scooped along, and Chikrin took a man down. That was Jake Caulfield, and now the two of them are staring at one another. Chikrin puts a gentle trip into Caulfield, and watching it all was Andy Van Hellemond as play moves ahead, but it's flicked back down by Stevens, and Hextall will just paddle it ahead.
While things are heating up, Jake Caulfield made a beeline for Hextall, faked it and got out of the way at the last second. I think Hextall got a piece of him with his stick.
Those who play long odds would ever have thought of this. Berube with a hammer shot on Jock Callender.
Dealt out some big hits.
Now we have Berube eye to eye with Lemieux. And as you might guess, a crowd gathers quickly on that one, especially the Penguins to be quick to rush in. All of this with 41 seconds to go in the first period of play that was all every Penguin fan could dream and all every Flyer fan would have in their worst nightmare. It is early in the evening, but the Penguins have established a great deal of control. Here's Coffey crossing. Couldn't get it through Jay Wells, and then Coffey hit from behind by Murphy.
Well, Jay Wells was indeed doing some forechecking. He ran over Tom Barrasso first. And then he ended up giving the stick to Jock Callender. If we stay with this, we'll see it. It's not happening yet. Right there is the stick foul. Right there. That's what Andy Van Hellemond called. You can see at the top of your screen.
To Lemieux, 2-on-1 with Brown. Samuelson back. Now a 3-on-1. Lemieux to Brown. He scores!
Did you see Ron Hextall take off after Rob Brown? This is going to be a test for Ron Hextall. If I were Paul Holmgren, I'd pull him right now, Mike. You know that? He had him and he let him go. And that's one of the reasons why he was coming up ice on this 3-on-1 is because he allowed that scoring chance. And look at this. Rob Brown's on the run. Dave Poulin got in the way. Ron Finn got in the way.
Well, Hextall has gotten a 10-minute misconduct, and he is coming off again, and Ken Reggett is coming on.
Got to pull him.
Those of you who are just joining us, for the second time, Ron Hextall has left the game in the period, and Ken Reggett has come on. The Penguins are just burying the Flyers by a score of 9-3. Mario Lemieux has gotten still another assist. He has 4 goals and 3 assists. He is 1 away from tying the league record for most points. And you see Ron Hextall again preoccupied with the Penguins bench here.
It's the Flyers, and that is the most they've allowed. And look at this. Shel Samuelson, you know, did a pretty good job on a 3-on-1. But anybody but Lemieux with the puck on a stick. And there's the chase is on. That's what Ron Hextall got his 10 for.
Flipped back along by Buskus. Puck turned further by Acton. I will admit that we misread what this second period would be like. It has been very calm. Just a flash to Wells. Well, no, maybe I'm wrong as we get the first bit of fisticuffs. Dobbin and Cullen, who had an exchange back across the ice, and two mighty mites really going at one another.
Boy, you're telling me. John Cullen got twisted around on this fight and looked like he was taking a beating, and it was him that dropped the gloves first. Dobbin and Cullen had been going at each other all the way around, and over on the boards, Dobbin finally crunched Cullen when he was trying to get the puck out of the zone, and finally Cullen dropped him first. I think we'll see here. I think Cullen dropped the gloves first. Well, it was pretty even, wasn't it? But there's where Cullen gets turned around and Dobbin's just throwing him. There's a punch at the end of this. I want to see if it lands right there. If Brian Dobbin lands that punch, John Cullen might not wake up until training camp.
Berube is there, forced off, but the puck came to Eklund. To the back, Chychrun a drive, and that one just held by Tom Barrasso, and now Berube and Barrasso. And the crowd gathers, and now a glove thrown away as Berube wants to get to Jim Johnson, but Jeff Chychrun already has an arm lock and a headlock on him from behind.
Speaking of headlocks, Terry Cartner sure got a major league headlock on Kevin Stevens. That was Stevens that just broke away from it. Okay, here's a look at that action between Berube and Johnson. At this point, Barrasso has the puck. He has grabbed Jeff Chychrun's drive from the point, and you see everything's fine there till Jimmy Johnson walked in and tried to pull Craig Berube away. Man, did Berube ever land a big right hand on Johnson.
Right now, they want to establish a tone for the game, and they are just whacking everybody in sight. Mellenby and Jimmy Johnson apparently are going to go to it. There at center ice, Ronnie Finn trying to break it up. Carter came out and whacked about 3 pins. Acton came out and used the stick, and the Flyers are really going to use the muscle here late in the game. Johnson trying to protect himself. Mellenby is rammed against the boards. Carter's been ushered out of the ice surface. Now somebody's got a hold of one of the pins over on the far side. It's Acton. Jimmy Johnson and Mellenby really going to it now. Mellenby the bigger man, there's no question about that, and Jimmy Johnson hanging tough. And they try and pry them apart. Pins have Kevin Stevens out here and Derek Smith. Jimmy Johnson and Big Mellenby going to it. Now Carter came up. He whacked about 3 of the pins along the way. All the way up the ice surface, and then Acton right in the face-off took a stick and rammed it into Jock Callender. And now who's involved here? Coneyworth of the pins and Acton and Booin. Where's Acton at? No, he's in there. Acton's in there. Let him go. Let him get out there against somebody. Let Acton get away. Let somebody talk to him. Coneyworth and Acton having words. Acton pried apart now by Gordy Brosiker. It was interesting. Acton started so much of that coming up. Went right from the face-off, Acton. And then it was Carter ramming goaltender Tom Barrasso. He took a shot at him.
Go ahead.
Well, it's tough to tell. The Flyers came back and really put together a pretty good effort at trying to close the gap and establish a lot of positive things. But now it's breaking down again. Boy, I can see it from down here on the monitor.
Keith Acton went right after Robbie Brown out of the face-off. And so something that we had forecast might have occurred earlier is occurring now. And now Ken Reggett, the goaltender, is being hammered by one of the Penguins. I believe it was number 7, Rod Buskus.
You're right, it was Rod Buskus. Reggett came all the way out. Now, he had to be standing out between the goal and the blue line, if I'm not mistaken, Mike. I couldn't see it here, but I imagine that the Flyers might have wanted to get him out again. If he didn't, that means he came all the way from his goal to get into that.
Keep in mind, the Flyers are outmanned here. Now, not so long ago, this would immediately have triggered a bench clear, but now the punishment is very severe. Robbie Brown is wrestling around with Reggett from behind. First man off the bench gets 10 games. The coach gets 5. And there is a sizable fine to the team. The fine is not the big concern, it's the manpower.
Mike, who we got there? That's Zarley Zalapski for the Penguins. That's Gord Murphy.
Gord Murphy, yeah. And now Buskus has moved in and seems to be acting the role of the peacemaker. Well, Reggett immediately became involved because he saw that the Flyers only had 3 attackers out, and since the attack had become physical, he became the 4th. Kevin Stevens goes off the ice, and Jay Wells will be going off too. But right off the faceoff, Acton decided that he'd had enough of Rob Brown for the night and went right after him. Now Barrasso and Wells have been having some words, though Barrasso is looking away, watching the action at center ice as you watched Wells yelling out toward him. So there'll be plenty of fire coming on the part of both of these teams when they get ready for Game 6. Acton goes off.
Well, Ken Reagan did something that I'm sure Ron Hextall wanted to do about 8 times tonight.
Reagan is being tossed, and this will mean the return of Hextall for the last 9 seconds. Now we'll pick up the penalty calls with interest.
Well, watch Acton here. He missed he didn't even care about the draw. That's when he decided to go after Rob Brown right away. And you can see that the Penguins converged on Acton right away, Buskus especially. I want to see if Reagan comes into this picture. You can see that oh, there's Ken Reagan.
That's when Jay Wells got in too. Now virtually everyone you've seen so far has left the ice. Rob Brown is going off now.